It was a sunny afternoon at the precinct when a group of overconfident cops decided to mock one of their colleagues' relatives visiting for a special community program. They didn't realize that Judge Elizabeth Hawthorne, a white woman in her mid-50s, had come to observe an inspection. Standing tall and dignified, Elizabeth walked past them in her professional attire. The officers, thinking it would be funny, grabbed clippers and forcibly began shaving her hair, laughing loudly as if it were a harmless prank. Elizabeth froze, her face a mixture of shock and restrained anger. Her years on the bench had prepared her for challenges in court, but this blatant disrespect took her by surprise. The precinct was filled with whispers and scattered gasps as some officers paused, unsure whether to intervene. Others, emboldened by the chaos, continued laughing and filming the event on their phones. Despite the humiliation, Elizabeth remained composed. Inside, her mind raced. She knew exactly who these officers were and, more importantly, that she presided over their upcoming disciplinary hearings. The prank intended to embarrass her would soon reveal the true consequences of arrogance and carelessness. She simply adjusted her collar, stared calmly at the officers, and waited for the right moment to reclaim her authority. After the humiliating incident, Elizabeth left the precinct quietly, keeping her composure. She walked down the street, her expression unreadable, as neighbors and staff gawked at the partially shaved hair. Inside her mind, she was already planning. These officers had no idea they had just humiliated the very person who held ultimate authority over their careers. Returning to her chambers, she meticulously documented the incident, collecting witness accounts, cell phone videos, and statements from bystanders who had recorded the humiliation. Her goal was not revenge and anger, but the calculated application of justice. Elizabeth reviewed her calendar. The disciplinary hearing for these officers was scheduled in less than a week. Every detail mattered, and she knew that patience, planning, and precise execution were key. Meanwhile, the officers were unaware of the storm brewing. They laughed about the incident later, confident that their prank would have no consequences. What they did not realize was that the presiding judge on their case was the very person they had humiliated. Elizabeth's calm demeanor hid a mind working strategically to ensure that the principles of accountability and law were upheld. She would turn their arrogance into a lesson they would never forget. The day of the disciplinary hearing arrived. The courtroom was packed with officers, staff, and community members, all buzzing with anticipation. Elizabeth entered, her presence commanding respect despite her altered appearance. The officers, still oblivious, tried to maintain casual confidence, unaware of the judge's awareness of their prank. As the hearing began, Elizabeth allowed the officers to speak, presenting their side of the story. Their arrogance and flippant tone quickly became their undoing. She then calmly presented video evidence, eyewitness testimonies, and her own detailed account of the incident, highlighting the harassment, violation of protocol, and abuse of authority. The courtroom atmosphere shifted. Whispers replaced laughter, and the officers' faces fell as they realized they had underestimated the very person tasked with judging them. Elizabeth spoke firmly but without anger, emphasizing accountability, professional ethics, and the importance of respecting authority. Her calm and composed demeanor left no room for argument. Every officer in the room understood that this was no ordinary disciplinary hearing. The presiding judge had been personally affected, and justice would be delivered decisively. By the end of the hearing, Elizabeth's meticulous preparation and authoritative presence had ensured that the officers faced appropriate disciplinary action. Letters of reprimand, suspension, and mandatory ethics training were handed down. The officers' earlier arrogance had backfired spectacularly, and their attempt to humiliate the judge became a cautionary tale. Elizabeth emerged from the courtroom composed, her dignity intact. The precinct and community had witnessed that authority and professionalism always commanded respect, regardless of outward appearances. The officers, once confident and mocking, now understood the gravity of their actions and the importance of accountability. Elizabeth's calm, strategic response reminded everyone that power is not just about position. It is about intelligence, preparation, and integrity. Her partially shaved hair became a symbol, not of humiliation, but of justice executed with precision. In the precinct and beyond, the story spread, reinforcing the lesson. Arrogance and disrespect toward those in authority will always meet its consequences, and true power lies in patience, foresight, and unwavering adherence to the law.